If there's one team that knows how to steal the off-season spotlight, it's probably the Philadelphia Eagles. General manager Howie Roseman may not have been capable of getting the Birds back to the Super Bowl the last 2 years, but if he's good for anything, it's spicing up a roster, which makes the draft and free agency annually anticipated events for Eagles faithful. Former colleague Andrew Berry, now running the Cleveland Browns front office, just this week called Roseman the strongest wheeler dealer in the league, and history confirms that designation. The Eagles are consistently among the most aggressive, or at least proactive, franchises when it comes to roster and salary management. With that being said, the 2020 off-season figures to be no exception to some headlining Eagles shuffling. Core pieces like Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz, Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox are all locked up for the foreseeable future, so much so that Philly doesn't have really any need to shed veteran salary ahead of free agency's March 18 kickoff. But a year after the Eagles sorely lacked in healthy weapons and failed to advance in the postseason, Roseman seems intent on giving Doug Pederson's lineup a facelift, referencing the club's 2016 and 2017 prioritization of long-term, top-of-the-market additions as a blueprint for what's ahead. All that said, this hub will serve as a go-to spot for everything Eagles-related during the busy stretch to come. We'll have all the important dates, free agency scorecards, draft content, the latest rumors and news out of Philadelphia, and much more. Key upcoming dates: February 25, March 2nd, the Scouting Combine. Both Pederson and Roseman were on hand in Indianapolis to start the week. March 10th, deadline for NFL teams to place the franchise or transition tag on a player. There's not a single Eagles free agent who will warrant the use of either, and besides, Philly has a limited history with the tags. The last time they franchise tagged anyone was 2012, when Deshaun Jackson got the designation before landing an extension. March 16th, the NFL's legal tampering period begins, allowing teams to begin talking with and engaging in contract negotiations with free agents. The Eagles aren't desperate to lock up any of their internal FAs, so this will be more about their outreach to big names elsewhere. March 18th, the new league year officially begins at 4 p.m. It will probably know at least one of the Eagles' moves beforehand. March the 29th to April the 1st, the NFL's annual league meeting in Palm Beach, Florida. Another chance to hear from Pederson and Roseman, presumably about their biggest roster moves. Mid-April, release of 2020 schedule. April the 23rd to April the 25th, the NFL draft in Las Vegas. The Eagles own the 21st overall pick, plus 9 other selections. April 27th, NFL teams can request permission to visit with, try out, or sign any player who was under contract with the XFL. May 1st, start of NFL minicamps. Free agency scorecard. Restricted free agents. Restricted free agents must be tendered in order to remain on the roster. The Eagles can assign a number of different tenders: original round, first round, second round, etc. Each tender comes with a higher 2020 salary, which are TBD by the NFL. Equals exclusive rights free agent. If tendered, offers cannot negotiate with other teams. They can either sign with the tendering team or sit out the season. Unrestricted in-house free agents. You don't have to look hard to find notable names on this list. No matter how you slice it, the Eagles are going to be saying farewell to a handful of key contributors from their 2017 Super Bowl run. Thing is, they're probably okay losing most of them. Sproles has already said he'll retire. Aguilar has worn out his welcome despite an underrated 17 campaign. Peter's successor, Andre Dillard, is already in the building. Darby has almost never been healthy, and McLeod could be a justified departure in the event Malcolm Jenkins gets a new deal and/or the Eagles explore a relatively deep free agent test class. The safest bet to return from the Eagles' own FAs is probably Mills, who'd be a borderline no. 2CB for most NFL teams but remains a feisty favorite of coordinator Jim Schwartz. Pederson said at the Combine he'd love to have Peters back, but any reunion might be delayed. Our Sproles waiting to re-sign until summer in 2019. Aguilar, Vitae, Darby and McLeod shouldn't have trouble netting interest elsewhere, the first three in part because of the positions they play, McLeod because he's quietly been a rock-solid starter for years. Unrestricted free agent signings from other teams. Free agent signings for players cut by other teams. Note: players who are signed after being released by another team, rather than entering free agency unsigned, do not count in the compensatory draft pick formula for the team who signs them. 2020 NFL Draft Picks, Round 1, Philadelphia Round 2, Philadelphia Round 3, Philadelphia Round 4, Philadelphia Round 5, Philadelphia, New England, Michael Bennett Trade Round 6, Atlanta, Jonathan Cyprien Trade Round 7. None. The Eagles are also projected to get 3 compensatory picks ahead of the 2020 draft, a third-rounder for the loss of QB Nick Foles to the Jaguars, a fourth-rounder for Pound Jordan Hicks going to the Cardinals, and a fourth-rounder for W.R. Golden Tate going to the Giants. Rumors, reports and updates: Eagles could be shopping W.R. Alshon Jeffrey Feb. 25. Multiple reports have indicated the Eagles prefer to trade Jeffrey not only because of his recent on-field issues, injuries, regression, but because of his alleged anonymous criticisms of Wentz and the offense. A number of teams could be interested in absorbing the veteran's big salary for a swap of picks, including the New York Jets and New York Giants. Cowboys CB Byron Jones likely on Eagles' radar. Feb. 18. As reported at CBS Sports, Jones figures to become the NFL's highest-paid player at his position come March 18 with an anticipated annual haul of at least $16 million. Dallas does not intend to get into a bidding war for the defensive back, even if it means Jones staying in the NFC East, where the Eagles, New York Giants and Washington Redskins likely all have lots of interest. Eagles part ways with Pound Nigel Bradham. Feb. 18. 2 years after inking him to a 5-year, $40 million extension, the Eagles released one of their Super Bowl starters, saving an estimated $4.5 million in 2020 cap space in the process. Bradham was a physical presence and former signal caller for Schwartz's D, but injuries limited his impact in 2019. He could be a candidate to return on a reduced salary later in the offseason. Chiefs DeMarcus Robinson among possible Eagles targets. Feb. 10. The Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McLean reported the Eagles have Robinson, a reserve wide receiver for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, in their sights as they hunt for more speed. He would likely represent a mid-tier, low-risk, high-reward option for the club at WR. Although if 2019's pass-catcher market is any indication, his price could be higher than expected. Let's block ads. Why?